Hey everybody, I'm Justin Bohn.
I'm Mike Val.
And this is the Bohn and Zano Zone, where we are always on the lanes, off the charts, and on the mic. Hello everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Bohn and Zano Zone podcast, presented by BuddiesProShop.com. Mike, it's good to be back for third night in a row.
We're wrapping up Story Week, so we did the 80s through the eyes of Lenny Nicholson and Larry Lichstein.
Yep.
We did Life on Tour through the eyes of Charlie Tapp and Mike Albee.
And we've got Murderers Row.
We have Murderers Row. We're going to go to the amateur megabuck scene of the 90s when bowling was bowling.
Yeah. So
and there's no better guys than the guys we got tonight.
It doesn't compare.
So how do you want to introduce these guys? Who do you want to bring on first?
You know, I'll let you pick a guy you want to introduce first, but first I got to plug one thing.
Oh, absolutely. I know what you're going to do.
So for those of you who have been following, or those of you who are new to our show, the 21st annual Parker Bohn III Junior Scholarship Tournament will take place this year, September 2nd to the 7th, and will be a qualifier for the PBA Junior National Championship. So if you are interested and want more information, please visit parkerbone3.com, where you can find all the information, sign up for the tournament, rules, schedule, anything at all. It's going to be super exciting for the 21st year, and we've got our own Mike Val in the booth commentating for 6 days in a row.
I'll be there. I'll be signing autographs, shaking hands, kissing babies, and whatever.
You'll be at least commentating. I don't know about the rest of it.
Yeah, I'll be there commentating. All right, so let's do it. This is the one we've been waiting for. So I'll take the guy. I'm wearing I decided to go with the patriotic look because all these guys have represented the U.S. for years. So I'm going to take the PBA Hall of Famer from Double Oak, Texas. I think he is the most time in Team USA, in the history of Team USA? I think he is.
Maybe.
Well, let's find out. Chris Barnes.
How's it going, guys?
Welcome back, bud.
Doing good.
Are you the most times on Team USA? Do you hold that record?
Maybe for the guys.
All right. So I was kind of right, Justin.
You were there.
All right. Justin, your turn.
Mahowski's been on there since like 1984 or something like that. I don't even know. I think her first year was when she was 6. So,
I see somebody having a heart attack in the booth there.
Yeah, I think I got to introduce that guy next.
Yeah, bring him on. He owes us. He owes us a show.
Yeah, a guy who took part in our trivia contest. Saw him last weekend in Indianapolis. It was good seeing him in person, and it's good to have him back on the show. Made a great run against Matt Eagle McNeil, but it's time to have him back for some stories. Tim Mack.
There he is.
Hey guys, what's going on? Hey Superman, how you doing, brother?
Hey Captain, how's it going,
man? Good to see you. This is going to be a lot of fun, guys. These are 3 of my most favorite people that, and 3 people, obviously, guys, that I not only I looked up to, that I learned a lot from. Bowling on the lanes with them. This is going to be a fun show. I can tell you that.
All right, Justin, I'm going to go with the new guy of the group.
Okay.
We've never had him on before.
No.
The pride of the New England area. I think he's a 4-time All-American, William Patterson. I know, Chris, I'm sorry, he did beat you guys for the national championship the one year. But a highly –
it was him and not John Spence, I can tell you that. So
And he's already in the chat, and Spence is already in the chat log. So Chris, you know he's going to be on us all night. Let's bring him in. Chris Viali.
There he is.
And there he is. Welcome, Chris. This is gonna be a good one with the history. Is he muted, Justin?
Yeah, he's muted.
Yep, Viali's muted. He's still muted.
He's getting there.
He's getting there. And look, Never Nervous Purvis Granger checking in tonight.
Yes. Hey, Vic's on the mic. Oh no.
All right, Justin, we have one
Now
more
am I
to
good?
bring on.
Yes.
Now he's
Vic
good.
is on the mic.
there you go, Vic.
Justin, we got one more to bring in.
All right, guys, I'm on now.
There he is. Welcome, Chris.
So the guy who I'm going to say made hooking a bowling ball look like it's absolutely nothing. 7-time titleist on tour, a now 2-time member on the show, Robert Smith.
Robert Maximum Bob is on. Welcome back, buddy.
There he is.
Is this not just like the murderer's row of bowling from the megabuck scene in the 90s, guys? I mean, does it get any better from this?
Oh, look at
All the
that.
way.
Is Robert frozen? Yeah.
Sorry, my screen looks terrible, but I'm on my phone. You there? What's up,
We
Bohn?
got
Hear
it.
you, Bob. We can hear you.
So
Put that animal away, will you?
that's what she said, Timmy.
You talking about his dog?
Well, guys, first
Yeah,
of all,
two
thank you
dogs
guys
yelled.
thank you all for joining us tonight. This is going to be a good one. And I think, Justin, how I'd like to start is maybe throw a name out there
Okay.
and have each one give a little story of said bowler.
All right.
And I would like to start off tonight's show. Oh, God. Chris, I apologize for this already, but it's starting.
Who is John Spence?
You know, Justin, if we have room, we could bring him on later if he wants to come and say hi.
It's so weird. Most people that watch these shows are actually bowlers. I never heard of that guy.
No.
Come on.
Viali, do you know who that guy is by any chance?
Yes, he was on our team. Psycho Spence, man, kidding me?
Yeah, I mean, it was Bialy, it was Sol, it was Carter, it was Bill Ripley, and the guy in the yarmulke. Who was?
That's it.
All right, let's
And
start.
Eddie Munster, otherwise known as Joe Spence.
All right, I want to throw a name out there, and I want to hear. And we want the gloves off tonight, guys. Right, Justin? We don't want the G-rated stuff. We want to hear some good dirt tonight.
Yeah, I'm just going to go like this, put my feet up, and
I got my popcorn. I'm ready to go. Let's start it off. I want to hear a little bit about Mike Newman. Arguably one of the greatest amateurs that ever threw a bowling ball.
Wow, so right. So he was from my area, and before I saw Robert Smith throw the ball, and Timmy to a degree, but Robert more. Between him and Rudy, nobody had more power and confidence than Mike Newman did. It was insane to watch him bowl as a kid growing up. We were pretty much off the back of the ball or trying to, play lane straight or deal with whatever hold we had. And there's the man. He would just circle the hell out of it and bang it, man. But he was a great competitor.
Go ahead, Chris.
He was
when I
the first one
started
I
going
saw
out there
that could
and,
play pretty much anyone.
What's that?
He was the first guy I saw that could play pretty much any part of the lane he wanted to. Hands down. First guy I saw.
Yeah, when I came out there in the 90s, I mean, the two guys.
Except one. He
were
couldn't
Beal.
go up one.
It was Chris and it was Newman. Those are the two guys that they're both super tough. Went after it in completely different ways. But I mean, man, Newman could make it. He could make urethane balls look like reactive balls. Him and Rudy were the ones that had the biggest show. But then, Mike was the one that could finish. He was just a great match play player, pulled out all the tricks, all the gambits, and I learned a bunch watching him and watching Rudy and watching Vic and those guys all bowl those matches and some of the things that happened. That was a different level than what the Midwest had experienced before.
I'll back that up. The first time I saw Mike Newman, I was just fresh, still in college. I really didn't know what I was doing. Actually, I was bowling a lot of tournaments in the East Coast, and I was bowling the Buddy Russell, which was a big Jim Lustig tournament. And I didn't know who the hell Mike Newman was, to be quite honest with you. And I was using a blue hammer, and I was bowling him on 7 and 8. I'll never forget it. We were bowling at Garden City, and at the third or fourth frame, I got a lucky strike, and I walked back, and he said, "Do you know who I am?" I said, "No, I don't, and I don't care." So I threw and I actually beat him in that tournament. I'll never forget it. And then afterwards, I finally learned about the guy who Mike Newman is, and then obviously the next 4 or 5 years, as I started to bowl more tournaments, he was as talented as I've ever seen. At that era and that time, the things he could do with a bowling ball, and like Vic said, Chris said, Viley said earlier, and also Barnes said it. The confidence that Vic and Newman showed every time they laced it up or got it on the lanes, it was contagious. Actually, I sat and I became a person that wanted to watch it and wanted to learn from it. And I watched scenarios. I watched how those guys went around their craft, because at that time, I hadn't met Robert yet, and I had met Chris once in a junior tournament a couple years before, but I had never seen anything like those two guys in my life. That every time they stepped on the lanes, they just knew they were going to strike and they were going to stick it right in you. It was incredible. It was incredible to watch.
It's a shame he never really went on tour. He probably would have made it on tour if he tried it full time, right?
I probably Chris Barnes would have a bit better understanding of that. I just think tour life isn't for everybody too. Guys, it's a different scenario. It's a different. It's just different. I'll equate it to me flying all over the world. It's not easy to do, and that the tour life isn't easy to do. It's not for everybody. Bowling talent wise, I think the guys on this panel will agree that he had all the talent in the world and could strike with anybody and the best of them. But I'll pass it on to Barney Superman there to see if see what he thought.
I think he did go out for a little while, but that was before I was out there. So. He didn't stay there very long, and then I don't know, it was 8 or 10 weeks. It's kind of what serves. Vic probably remembers better than me.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Hey, we got a name. We got a name in the chat here too. How about this guy?
Ransom area.
Oh, yeah.
Ransom area.
What did that supposed to mean there, Mr. Barnes?
He can create it.
He won the roller twice, right?
He didn't miss it at the bottom.
Yeah, Paul was another.
So I've got a good story.
Yeah, good, Vic, good.
I got a good story. The first time I saw Robert Smith bowl was the year that Paul Renteria won, and that was the I think it was the '92 roller. So both myself and Robert had massive crowds behind us as we were bowling. And he's striking at will, I'm striking at will, and Paul is striking at will as well. And he's got his own like Las Vegas contingency around him, but our crowds were much bigger than his. And as we were getting toward the tail end of match play, before the show, it really felt like it was either going to be me, Robert, that would win the tournament. In my mind, that's what it felt like. But then Paul, I had to bowl Paul in the top 8 of that tournament. And he railed me over. Like it was 250 to 230. And, he went on to win the tournament. But, boy, man, could he bend the ball and stay behind it and get that ball to just roll up on some of that tight oil that was out west. One hell of a player, man. But that's when I met Robert, man. Jesus Christ. I'm watching Robert bowl. I'm like, this guy. He's tearing the whole ball in half as he's throwing it down the lane. It was incredible.
Yeah, for me too. When I saw Renneria, he had that long hair in the back, and he too was full of confidence when he walked on the lanes. And off the lanes, I'll tell you what, he's as nice as the day is blue. He's an incredible guy. You don't want to get on his wrong side, because if you get on his wrong side, you're in trouble. I can tell you that. But yeah, my first roller was in '94, so I think Renneria had already won one by that time, or won. I think he won the one that Robert made the stepladder in and finished third. I got that video, and Vic, I like you couldn't believe what I was like. Golly, I can't believe what Robert Smith can do to a bowling ball. It was mind-boggling back then. I mean, to have 575 rev rate and actually know where it was going was impressive to me. But Renneria, another guy that, like you said, Vic, he knocked the holes out of it. And when he turned around, he looked like he wanted to slit your throat. I mean, he looked like he looked like, if you looked in his eyes, he was an intimidating character.
And bigger problems, he looked like he could.
Yeah, yeah, he was. And he was, he was such a genuine gentleman off the lanes. I mean, I don't know how many people actually got a chance to spend time with Paul over the years, but I have. What a great guy, and still a great bowler today. I watched him bowl a couple senior events out there, and he still rolls the heck out of it, and still gets it when he bowls. But man, like you, Vic, I'm like you. He got up the back of it so effortlessly, and could hook it. Could hook it everywhere when the balls didn't have automatic hook in them like they do now.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
We're talking about all these guys. Obviously, in the top right corner, the smoothest guy with the best roll was Barnes coming out of college or in college. God, was that smooth. Some of those Wichita guys, Rick Steelsmith, you guys were just tailored to just roll that ball so perfect off your hand.
That's what we wanted to do.
We didn't have that. We didn't have this back east, because if I rolled it like that, it would roll out at the arrows and go dead right into the 3-6. So back in the east, we couldn't roll it like that. We had to flip it and figure out ways to get down the lane to store energy. But when
I'm aware of my weakness, thanks again for bringing it up.
Make the cut in the Papas or Andy or the Russell tournaments at the File?
Yeah, the Andy Verapapa, I did all right at that. Lilac, I lost to Litchi on a Stone 8 once. I got better at it, but yeah, it's a different world up there. I had to learn how to bowl on that. I mean, when I grew up, the two best bowlers in Topeka where I grew up were Bob Benoit and Kelly Kaufman. So how much oil was there on the land where I was at? It's a little different deal. So I want to tell you real quick, to let you know who I wanted to be like. Out of all those guys are out there, Rudy and Newman and all that, I had a full collection. By my second time at the High Roller, I had a full collection of shorts and Big Johnson T-shirts. So that was that guy. So
no, he's pointing to Mr. Viali, I believe.
Oh yeah. I didn't go full in. I didn't go swim trunks, but yeah, I probably had 8 or 10 of them, and I got my hair longer, but I kept curling up. I couldn't quite get it.
Hey, he's back.
There, he's back.
Bob is finally in the chat.
Thank you. I had to set up the internet. We weren't set up yet. We just moved into our place.
Shit out you the whole time, Robert.
I imagine you were doing something behind my back.
We've been telling the audience you can't hook it. You're just a straight guy. You have no gut, no determination.
Like
Nick, you were one of the guys that used to yell at me for not getting left enough half the time. You'd yell at me to get left more. You're I think you just wanted to see how far I could go.
Bob, you hooked balls when other people didn't hook balls.
You could go far.
The bottom line is,
I didn't even know. I was just bowling. I didn't even know. I was just bowling.
Size 14 feet. He didn't even look right. He got these big old feet. Got this big old torso. He's just walking around. He's wallowing, and then all of a sudden, he lets the ball go.
Yeah, I got the shortest legs. I got legs for a 5'2" guy. I got legs for 5'2". I waddled. There was no stride. Absolutely. Yep.
Oh man,
Well, stop picking
So-
on Robert. He
So what did I
tried.
miss?
a lot.
You know,
I
a lot of
figured.
people I've never
I
seen you
figured.
wearing a Big Johnson T-shirt. I wear them all the time out there. I want to be like you.
What was that again? Be like me. Jeez. Yeah, out here with no work.
So, what was it like out there, like spending like 2 weeks in Vegas, like in your 20s? Like, what was it like? What are you guys doing, like nightlife after you're done bowling? Like, what was it like out there?
For me, it's easy. I mean, we would spend actually almost the whole month of January. Let's take January for example, because we would bowl the Super Bowl high roller, and then we'd have a week off, and then we'd be back for the eliminator, and then the week off on the Super Bowl high roller. But we actually would go back to Robert's house, in the mid to late 90s, and it was we had a couple opportunities where we bowled the team challenge in Vegas. It was madness. I mean, every squad I bowled, it was $675 for every 2 games I bowled. I didn't.
Barnes was a little more.
So life was really good. It was a mind-boggling time to know that if you could hunker down and focus, while you were at your craft at that time, there was an obscene amount of money you could make for that time, and it was if you bowled like we bowled, like I know the guys here, and bowled multiple sweepers, there wasn't a lot of I mean, not for me at least at that time. I was still real young. There wasn't a lot of going out and having much fun until I started learning what worked for me and what worked for my schedule. Then then there was a little bit of fun.
Hey, Justin, they got to tell us about the story Robert told us the last time he was on about the team challenge.
How they were talking about how there was plenty of money to be made, and how 5 or 6 games they had a lot of it.
I was telling you when we had to run up to the room to go count all that.
Yeah,
Just
that was
throwing
in
it on the bed.
That was in 1996 at the team challenge. I had never met Billy Myers Jr. or Mike Devaney, and it was a really weird time. I was trying to figure out which direction I was going to go. If I was going to get serious about bowling or not, or go back to school and get a job. And I bowled with those guys, and it was an incredible experience for 6 hours. I remember a guy, Casey Beasley, he put up all the money for the team, and then we took I don't know. I was a blocker. All I know is there was a big flag of money. I don't know who carried the money, Robert, but I was a blocker for everybody.
It was 85. It was 85 grand when we threw it out on the
85,000.
bed. It was 85 grand after those 2 sets.
So
Yeah, you were lead blocker. No, actually, I was lead blocker because you were holding the money. You were the fastest of all of us. So you had.
All I know is we went up in the room and threw the money up in the air on the bed. I know Barnes can do this every day because he has that money in his safe next to his.
I can do that because I don't gamble. So
Yeah, you do. You gamble on yourself every single day. You're a bowler. That's all. We're all gamblers. Every one of us out here is a gambler. We're betting on ourselves.
One way or another.
We're betting on ourselves. And we threw the money up in the air and rolled around on it in the bed. And I've still never seen that much money in my life.
Can I throw another name
Not
out there?
cash. Nope.
I want to throw another name out there. Can I do that, Justin? Am I allowed to throw another name out there?
Go ahead, Mike.
Tony Rosamilia.
That's your guys' neck of the woods there.
Yeah.
He could bowl, man. For a big man, he could bowl. He could
He
bowl.
was a sneaky action guy. We would bring him out to Hoinky and bowl matches against the Mexicans, as we called them back then. And, you put this big guy on the lane that looked like he couldn't really do anything, and he could hold his weight for sure. And he could tell some stories about 6 to 8 hours straight of having Mexicans stop bowling, go out, get money, come back, lose again, go back out, get money. We sat and waited for him to come back, and then beat him again. And then he finally just stopped bowling at 7 or 8 in the morning when it was time to start bowling sweepers or match play or whatever it was. But Tony was he was crafty.
Whatever those 4 days in Cincy were.
Yeah, I remember Rosa Amelia bowling Rudy in a. I was watching it. It was in New Jersey, and Rudy obviously is very competitive, and we all know that. And I know he just had a birthday, so happy birthday to Rudy. But he was bowling. He got Rudy so mad at the last shot. Rudy ripped his shirt off coming off the approach. And Rosa Amelia liked to let you know about it too. He would say, you got beat by the fat guy. The fat guy, he would give you the business like no other. And I'll never forget that when it was I just remember the name of the bowling center, but he beat Rudy, and Rudy just ripped his shirt off right in the bowling center, and it was crazy.
Chris, you got a good.
Yeah,
you got
he wore a
good
bright yellow shirt for those action matches, and that's why we called him the Bus. That nickname stuck with him. It's ridiculous.
Oh, God.
He was like 5x5, basically, right? Like 5x5, right?
Maybe 5x7. Yeah. I don't know. And he goes with Robert's short legs. He had tiny little arms, right? Or has tiny little arms. Tony, I know you're watching, so I'll just play with you, baby.
Vic, what was your best high roller match?
Well, that's a good one.
That's
Bohn, one of the Savant brothers. Round 2, the year I made the show, I was down 80 pins in the 6th frame, and he was floating the ball from like 10 to like 3, and I was playing up 1. I had thrown 2 gutters early in the game, so it's like 60 in the 5th or whatever. And he the front run 4, and then he fell apart. And in the 9th frame, he went gutter spare. Then in the 10th, he went 4 out, and I tripled to beat him by 1 pin. And that was the 2nd round to move on. But it was like insane what happened. So that would be my weirdest, craziest finish of a match. Gutter 4, 6 out. No, it was gutter 4 in the 9th, then 3, 6, 9, 10, miss it left in the 10th. And then I tripled to beat him by a pin.
Yeah, I've seen 3 off the left when they needed 5 to win.
And get the first 2. And then go 3 left.
Yeah, then you decided, I'm going to move to the middle of the lane and throw it down the middle, except they hooked it, and the middle of the lane was on fire. And it just people absolutely lose their mind in that thing. What they would do under crazy matches. I was bowling. I think it was around a 64. And I'm bowling Don Frund from up in Washington, and Tony Franklin is bowling Brian Smith, like 2 or 3 pairs. So I'm on the first pair right of the poles, like 47 and 8. They're a couple pairs away. They go. Brian shoots 279 and loses because Tony has the front 10. 289, 279. We are playing the first one to get to 162 wins on our pair. We can't get 6 is a good count, and if we're on the same side of the lane, that's complete bonus. I end up winning. I 2-8-10 in the 10th, and he 2-4-8-10s right behind me in the 10th to lose. So it's some of the nutsiest stuff ever in that event.
What about you, Rob?
Paul Fleming, I thought, shot 259 or 260 every first round and lost. Wasn't it Fleming who always lost first round no matter what he shot?
Garber never won a first round match. He was 0 for life.
It just
never did win one.
Oh,
the last one I saw him, and the one that cracked him completely, he bowled a woman from New York. She had a beer and a cigarette between every shot. I swear, maybe only half a beer. It's my story, so facts don't matter. But she is pounding them and just a human chimney. And she throws a backup ball. As fate would have it, 3 seconds later, 210. And
Linda Peoria.
Yeah, Garber 7-10, somewhere like the 9th frame, and he gets beat again, and he's like, I'm never coming back, ever. I'm done.
Vic, who was that? What was her name, Vic?
Linda Dioria. She passed away, a few years ago, but yeah, she was a pretty good bowler, backup bowler, but she was a human smoking machine. Like that had to have been her.
Yeah, that sounds like perfect. The whole New York accent, people in the stands, the whole thing. It would have been funny if I wasn't friends with Dave, but I mean, like how many times? How many times?
I had two matches that come to mind.
What was great about the roller is that the lanes were so hard for match play in almost all the years that we bowled. In the 90s, late 80s, early 90s, they started a little bit easier. But boy, man, you could get crowd wins all the time. So you would have a horde of 100 or 200 people supporting East Coast guys, and if they were bowling one of the Texas smooth guys, California smooth guys, they could get on him, and then the ball would go sideways. It was crazy. Not like the sweepers. The sweepers, all the best bowlers won the money there. All the guys that really could throw the ball good always came out with all the cash there. But it was a different world.
Chris, didn't you win like back to back, or the same day you won 2 sweepers, right? Or the back to back days?
Like all the sweepers, it felt like
the two big ones, Thursday and Friday in '95.
Yep.
There was 400 or 500s in the 2 days, and I had 3 of them. It was the one time I ever thought I could win the high roller because I had the nuts, and it didn't seem like anybody else did. I didn't understand kind of why, because I didn't play as much shape. I just had it. And, of course, I lost in the second round to a guy with Velcro shoes and a towel hanging out of his back pocket. So, well, that works.
I got 2 matches that I bowled that I remember distinctly. My first high roller match actually was '94, and I was bowling Casey Greer from Texas in the second round, and he needed 6 square to beat me, and he went 4 off the left, and then 2 off the right, or 3 off the right, and I ended up winning 169 to 167, and got to the next round, which once you win, and then I drew the bye. It was like, that's when everybody went crazy when you got a bye. It was like a $1,100 or $1,200 bye. I went nuts. The other match was against Brad Angelo when we bowled the later on in the high roller in the 90s. We had the Red Hot tournament, and it was to get to the round. We were in the round 8 or 16 to get to the next round, and it came down to the 10th frame, and I needed a mark in the 10th, and I light 8-10, and Brad started celebrating. We had, like you guys have talked about earlier, 2 different crowds. I had my crowd that was rooting for me, and then Brad had his crowd that was rooting for him. And I went up and I made the 8. I bounced the 10 out like I was shooting the 10 pin and tomahawked the 8 pin, and I went batshit crazy on him. Ran it out like and I just went crazy. And next time you see Brad Angelo, ask him about the 8-10 when I bounced out the 8-10 against him. And at that time, Brad and I, we had we used to combat pretty hard on the lanes, just because Brad was a super competitor, and so was I, and we wanted to win. And but I'll never forget making the 8-10 and the 10th against him at the high roller. It was like just left of the desk, like 23 and 25 and 26 or something, and I went crazy bonkers. Nope, imagine that. And the place went crazy, and I probably lost the next match, but it didn't matter.
How about one in the chat here? And if that's the bat, that's Joe Tusa. I think that's who he's referring
the bat.
If that's the bat we're referring to, that's Joe Tusa. So
Joey Tusa, yep.
All right, come on. Longest arms on any human being. God rest his soul.
God rest the bat's soul. He was such, hey Timmy, how are you? Give me something that hooks. Will you give me something that hooks? I'm playing like 15 to the gutter, and I just can't get something. I got to get some more. He never hooked it more than 2 boards. Never. His ball would lope. But the bat almost won the Red Hot for 1 year, and it was $60,000 for first. Joe Tusa was, he's always friendly, always kind. And my bad story was every time I'd see him, hey, keep me ball that hooks. I got to play 15 to the gutter. I can hook it with any of them. I can hook it with the best of them. I can hook it with decent couch. I can hook it with all of them. Okay. So, I love the bat. Rest in peace, my man.
Any other good Joe Tusa stories? Everybody seems to know who we're talking about here.
No of them, but West Coast never saw him bowl too much.
How? Let's go to the. I mean, majority of you guys bowled overseas, right? So, what happened overseas? Like, was it a little bit different out there? And I mean, Timmy made a living bowling overseas, but like, what about like bowling over in Asia and Europe and whatnot? How did those play out?
It's Robert's fault that I went. He brought me first.
Hey, you want to tell that story, Timmy? No.
Which one is that, Barney?
Oh, there's a lot of them.
Is Purvis still on the chat?
All of them?
Is $1.75 still there? What?
I don't know. I have Robert to thank. I was fortunate enough to get into the USBC Hall of Fame. Somebody, thank you for the people who voted, but it's because of Robert Smith. Because if he doesn't ask me to go overseas, I remember Vic. Because what you guys don't know is Vic sponsored me to get me going to get my start. And I like
Roberts.
I'm forever indebted for that. That's why I call him Miyagi and I'm Danielson. I learned so much from him and so much from being around him and becoming a better bowler because of it. I wouldn't have had the opportunities I had if it wasn't for Chris Riley. So, he helped shape who I am today. And then I remember that he took a trip to Singapore, and I remember his trick was drink a whole bottle of NyQuil. Because if you drink a bottle of NyQuil, you will sleep on the plane on the way over. I remember that. But it didn't work for me.
You remember that tournament in Thailand? You remember that tournament in Thailand where they tried to help us out with the scoring pace and raise the pin deck above the lanes? Do you remember that one? It was like 95.
Yeah, the Singhai Masters or whatever it was. Yep.
Yes, and that was the one where everybody's playing the gutter and ringing 5-10s. If I remember correctly on that.
One of the worst formats ever in the history of formats. 3 days, 12 games each. You qualified, drop all the pins, pull 12 more on a completely different pattern, drop all the pins, and then roll the last 12 on whatever they think their local guy can win on.
Yeah. I still remember the one with Timmy. Timmy, remember the one where in Singapore where they re-oiled the lanes every block but forgot to strip? That was the one Purvis won.
That was nice. That was the year Purvis made the run to the top 4. There was 2 bowlers in the top 24 and 22 spinners. And Purvis had 4 balls sanded to 180 grit. And every 3 games he switched balls. It was one of the greatest displays of bowling I've ever seen to this day. I don't know how he finished in the top 4, but he got there. They just ran
the ladder.
They used to put those big prizes up for 300. And in the Pro-Am, I had the front 10 in the Pro-Am, and that was a big mistake. I should have never showed him our cards because the 300 was probably going to go off. After that, as Chris stated, the pattern became different, and then was different again, and then different again, and then in the finals, it was different again. It's a long way to fly to put your head in your lap when you know you couldn't beat the helicopter.
I was never so happy to miss the cut at that one. Watching you bowl I was miserable watching you bowl that last 12 games. That was torture.
Yeah, you said
you averaged 170. I think you averaged 170.
Yeah. The first tournament we bowled together, me and Robert Smith overseas in Singapore, there was a giant bet. And Vic, I don't know if it's when you went over to Singapore, if they had the gambling over there for the strike or 9 or not, when they would. Yeah, but I'm pretty confident.
Like if the pins were on the deck or off the deck.
Pins on the deck. So there was a giant bet that Robert and I wouldn't make the stepladder finals. And we qualified pretty high. And then came out pattern number 4, like Chris had talked about. This was my first tournament ever over there. And me and Robert are bowling good the first couple of games. And all of a sudden, his forest fire comes out with a hole in it. it looked like that. That's what his hole looked like in his bowling ball. His ball didn't come back for a while. It
Two
looked like
hammer claw marks right there on the backside of my finger holes.
it just smacked. There was no. I mean, you couldn't use the ball ever again. So Robert and I looked at each other. We started laughing. Like, well, what's going on here? So Robert then obviously gets pissed. His face gets red, and he decides to do what he does. Oh, I'll just put it instead of my 575 rev rate, I'll make my Firestorm 675 rev rate, and we still made the step ladder, and we cost some guy $10,000. I'll never forget that. Remember that, Robert?
Sam, go.
Yeah, $10,000.
Sam, go. Yep, I had some guy come up, say, thank you very much, and he left the building. And
didn't give you a dime.
No, look at that. There you go. Hey, I'm going to sign off, guys.
I got nothing out of that.
On my phone.
I think we're losing Timmy for a minute.
Yeah. Singapore was the first time. Singapore was the first time that I saw Mika Bowl. We were there. Myself, Newman, Cherninsky, and Brian Egan went, and there was that the car and the $100,000 for a 300, and Newman had the front 10 and didn't get it, and we were all going to split. But then the next game, Mika had a shot for the 300, and he just labeled it and just turned around and walked back like it was not a big deal. I'm like, holy shit, this guy's good. That was the first time I saw Mika throw the ball. That was
Mika
pretty
has
cool.
more of those six-figure, 300 games, big check. I mean, he's got a boatload of them for no more than that was available.
When he's had a chance for it, he's taking it.
Yeah, he's had like 3 of those $100,000 300s. The Super Hoinky, and obviously the 250K one.
Singapore
For the monster was pretty solid.
Was he like the best finisher or the best closer that was out there, like overseas or even here in the States when he came over?
He sure had some big moments.
Yeah.
Newman and Beal were two of the best finishers anywhere in the world. There were some guys that were really icy over in Scandinavia back then that could really, really bowl for when it mattered. We think we have a stranglehold on all the best bowlers because we didn't have access to all the information we have now, but there's been great bowlers over there for a long time.
Robert, didn't you tell us that Newman hit that 100K for 300 like twice out there in one of those events?
Yeah,
right? Something like that?
Right, didn't he hit it? He threw 2 in the same tournament, and then another gentleman from Korea shot.
Yeah, he got 2/3 of it.
So he got 2/3 of the prize.
Yeah.
That was the year after I went with him.
Of course.
Yeah, because the following year we ended up crossing together and qualifying, and he actually went back into the display case, grabbed that ball back out to go bowl with it because he was lost the first few games. He said, screw it. He goes running back in to grab it. I think it was a Kuda C or something like that. I mean, I really don't remember exactly what it was, but
it was a red sunstorm.
Doing the Larry Lichstein, Justin is Tim Mack tonight.
It was a red sunstorm that he used to shoot the 2 300s. And I'll never forget, Robert, you're right. He went back. I'm sorry, I'm going to pick up my daughter for soccer. But he went back and got the ball out of the case. And don't you know the first game, he threw the front 7 with it? I was like, holy shit, are you kidding me right now? He's gonna shoot 300 again with this ball while his name's still on the bowling ball? It was crazy.
Oh, yeah, he still got the Sharpie on it and everything.
Yeah, it was crazy, guys. It was crazy. That was 97, I'm pretty sure. I was 97.
Could you guys imagine if we had live stream back in those days?
Oh my God!
I mean, the action, the carnival, it would be insane how popular bowling would have continued to get.
What about the old action stories from back in the day? I know, Chris, you grew up here on the East Coast, so you're familiar with it, and Timmy too. And I know Barnes, you bowled a couple action matches here when the tour came around. So, any good action stories? Let's throw the money up on the counter and bowl. Got anything good? I know Robert Smith bowled a couple out here too. I know.
I want Chris Fiali, and I asked him about this last time, to talk about when he made the 710
with Patrick Allen against Judge and or no, who was it? Chivies and who was the other guy?
Steve Sherrill,
Frank
come on,
Phillips.
Chivies.
And Phillips
Chivies
and Frank Phillips. Yeah,
Oh, please. We always like a good Steve Sherrill story.
You fat fuck! It's the best ever.
It was terrible. It was we're bowling in the Bronx, and it's just chaos, right? I mean, there's all kinds of money in the back, including the front, and it's me and Patrick against Steve Chivies and Frank Phillips. Like, this should be easy money. We're on our third game, lost the front two, so it's tap out, right? We're if we lose this game, we're out. And we get to the 10th frame, and Patrick's bowling first. He does his job and gets it to me, and I throw a pretty good shot. We're all playing 80, whatever. There's no oil on the lane. And I come up a little high, trip the 4-pin, and leave the 7-10. So I'm like, oh, fuck, that's it. We're going to lose this game. So Chivies gets up, and I think that he needs a strike to win, and he leaves a 3-10. So I jump up out of my seat and I start screaming at him like he's a gagging big guy, whatever. So everyone calms me down and says, Chris.
No, you fat fuck.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to be courteous here. So everyone drags me back and says, no, we didn't win. All he's got to do is make this thing. I'm like, oh, come on. You got to be kidding me. So I run up there. I bolted at the 7-10 and pick it up. Now I'm going nuts. I slide into the ball return, cut my knee. I'm bleeding on the lanes, and I'm going crazy. And now everyone calms me down again and says, he's just got to make this, and you're still going to lose. I'm like, what? Oh, come on. Now I'm sitting back down. He misses it. So I go crazy again, and I still need 9 to win. And I didn't realize it. So now I have to regather myself. I'm bleeding all over the place. I get up and throw the strike, and we win. And we ended up winning the next 4 games. And all in the meantime, Patrick Allen's on the other side of the bowling center because he can't even deal with what's going on. So that was like the most insane, emotional, stupid thing I've ever done in my life. But that's the only time I made the 7-10 up until I was bowling in France last year. And it was on a tap-out match game like that. It was crazy. But I have a lot of bad stories too, where we got beat down by like Del Ballard. Me and Rudy at the file got set up by Alan Shulman and got clobbered by Wayne Webb and Brian Berg. And we meaning like the state of New York and New Jersey, lost so much money because there's no way any two righties could beat me and Rudy on the file shot, especially, as the night went along. They put down a different shot, and we bowled 520, 540 every game and got clobbered 5 straight moving pairs. That was the worst amount of money I've ever lost for people and myself. And, those things happen, right?
Did you guys have like action matches out at the roller? Like when you guys were out there for 2 weeks, was there any action stuff out there? I mean, I know the Hoinky was known for all that stuff, but
yeah, it was the 11 o'clock sweeper.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, do you guys all remember a guy, Joe Vito? Do you guys remember a guy, Joe Vito? I don't know if Barnes, like you might be a little bit too, well, Tim, you might be too young for that.
No,
Joe Vito was a guy.
I remember Joe.
Yeah, he was the best action bowler I've ever seen in my life. And he would, at the roller, he would allow 2 bowlers to bowl against him. He would match the money, and if either bowler beat him, they would both get paid. And he never lost. He was so good. And that confident, any two guys would come up and didn't make a difference who they were. And he would never lose.
Tough as nails, never hardly ever said a word. Completely the opposite of how most, like the East Coast matches, unassuming and never afraid.
so where was the tougher action? Was it down in Texas or like up in New York where we're at?
Different.
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 When I first started, I first started getting good in the early 90s, and there's Del Ballard, Chris Warren, Robert Lawrence, Norm Duke, Gary Dickinson. There was talent flying around everywhere with tour titles, and they all bowled all the local stuff. And they'd bowl anybody. They'd all bowl action. And if you wanted a piece, they were happy to give you what you wanted. There's a lot of matches. There's the opposite of like all the New York matches I bowl are like Rubio or Schiano on some kind of slam pattern or some kind of. There's always some kind of angle or edge or whatever. Those guys are like,
Yeah, there's something going on.
and you were the underdog, and you had to go try and take it from them if you wanted it.
Barney, you just named like 6 Hall of Famers.
I'm telling you, we got these.
My first,
double
I
elimination.
didn't really see action until I started bowling the rollers.
What's that, Rob?
Yeah, I just never even saw it. I mean, because bowling out here in the West Coast, I mean, by the time I was 18, I couldn't catch a match. 16, I kind of screwed myself on it. But yeah, first time I saw action, like big money bowling, was 92. July of 92 is when the first time I actually saw a lot of money, pass around and go. But yeah, I mean, once I got out of California, the matches really showed up. I had no idea about them beforehand.
Oh, it was a little tough. At 16, John Jotty called you the best bowler to ever throw a bowling ball, so you had a little tough go sneaking up on anybody. When I was 16, I was averaging 187. Nobody was too scared of me.
I figured I was west of Kansas. I was safe. I figured I was west of Kansas. I was perfectly safe. Nobody know me anything out here.
Yeah, until they saw you throw a bowling ball and the ball came back with smoke on it.
So
I was fortunate. I got to travel with Rudy bowling action, so Rudy was the name, and I would just slip behind him, and they would just plug me in, with their second or third grade bowlers.
Justin, before you go to your question, all right? Viali just mentioned Rudy, right?
Yep.
Now, Bob Perry is a Jersey guy. Justin, if you know who he is, I'm sure the other guys know who Bob Perry is. Bob Perry won the roller. He wasn't all there.
Introduced me to him.
Yeah.
He was a great player, but I watched him get thrown out of Sam's Town throwing dice off the craps table. But we even talk about Perry in a little bit, Justin. We'll what's the next one? We had another question,
so
right? Go for it.
We got one in the chat. Who is the best you have seen non-tour action now? Basically, who's the best action bowler who's not on tour nowadays?
They don't bowl action right now. They don't even. Everybody's afraid to put up money. We just bowled. When we would put our hand in our pocket, we didn't worry about the pattern. You stepped up, you manned up, and you bowled. Now, I don't match up on that pattern. I don't have the right ball for that. They got no heart. Nobody believes in themselves.
Your skill set's too high, so I won't play you.
Yeah, bowling for $100.
Yeah, we played and we put up money.
Put up some serious money.
Me and Mark Dyson versus Rudy and Warren Guernsey. 250, 250, 500 every set. Let's play.
Yeah, Brian Bogosian checking in. Did anybody see this one?
Brian.
Vespi versus Rudy? Yeah. I didn't see it. Did you guys see that?
I didn't see it. It was a little before me.
I didn't see that
Barnes
one.
might have seen it.
Yeah, we saw Vespi bowl Rudy at Deer Park in the old famed action days back when the tour would come into town, and man, Vespi was a character.
He didn't get cheated at the bottom either.
No, he did not.
I think some. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I think urethane kind of resin kind of hurt Vespi too, right?
I mean, resin hurt a lot of people. To be honest with you, if it was urethane, you might be talking about Amelino Monticelli having 45 titles, or Del Ballard Jr. having 45 titles. You don't know. But you've got to adapt with the times, and the guys that done that, like Norm Duke and Walter and Pete, and the other guys. Who knows? I mean, it's hard to say. What transpired. I mean, I grew up on a plastic ball and a yellow dot. So, the modern game, you either figure it out or you get left behind. That's just the way it is.
I lost a match at Amuleto at Royal Lanes, the Underground Center in Long Island, and he came in house shoes and a house ball and chopped me up 4 straight games. I'm like, who is this little Mexican guy or Venezuelan guy just strapping his elbow, like breaking his arm, throwing the ball? It was crazy.
Well, what's you guys touched on it before? So, what's the biggest difference between like your generation to like what's out there now? Like, is it just because guys have no heart now? Or what's the difference? Like, what could we do now to make bowling what it was 20 years ago?
Just shoe up and bowl. I mean, we paid an entry fee and bowl. We didn't see a pattern on the board. We didn't worry about how much it costs to get in. You know, we compete. You know, the art of competing and having the guts and the gumption to step up and get the job done. I think that's been lost a little bit. You know, we didn't worry about you know, what the tournament, you know, paid for first or what the cash ratio was. Step up and bowl. And, you know, I think our generation, listen, we had a golden era in our generation, the late 80s to early 90s and the whole 90s. Those megabuck times were, you know, a golden era in bowling, you know, and anybody that got to be part of it, which the four of us did, was just incredible. I just think people don't have the guts to step up and bowl. But, you know, it's excuses instead of you know, stepping up. What do you guys think? I don't know.
I think some of it was there was a lack of information. You know, we heard about Viali and he had his guys, and then you heard about Robert and they had their guys, and they went, well, our guy's better than your guy, and there wasn't a lot of opportunity for it to get together, and then you get the mob mentality behind it. I think some of that played into it too. You know, brackets and those kind of things, I don't think helped it at all either, because you ran away the numbers of people. The guy who finishes in the middle always loses money if he's in the bracket. So I think we lost entries that way, and it was another way to differentiate who the best players were easier. And, you know, some of the ambiguity, I think, played into it. There wasn't a lot of things with Midwest and East Coast guys. So, you know, of course, all the Midwest guys thought they were best, and all the guys on the East Coast thought they were best, and guys on the West Coast thought they were best. So it made the high roller so much fun. You had three areas, you know, and then you had the Michigan, Ohio group. And
their group.
Sort of. I mean, they thought so.
Yeah.
But, you know, anytime those guys got together and there's the sponsor groups that came with them, that was, man, if you could recapture that somehow, that was the most intense feeling ever, is walking in and watching 72 matches or 144 matches going on. And I guess there's 72 matches.
You just walk up and down and pick the match you wanted to see. You're just looking through and all of a sudden, oh, there's a close one. You didn't care who was throwing. You didn't care if it was somebody you knew. It was bonus. But, yeah, I mean, it was a blast. I think the biggest problem is between now and then is with the equipment and how they – with the new equipment, because 92 was when the resin started coming out. I lost to Mike Taylor in that step ladder at the roller. He's throwing an Excalibur. I'm throwing a black U-Dot. And he made my ball look like it wasn't doing much. And I think with the equipment that's out now, again, you don't get that middle of the road guy that wants to come and play, because the bowling balls are still, to me, I think they're too difficult for the normal bowler to control. So they put out the giant, you know, wall shots, but then when you go bowl little tournaments, all of a sudden now it's these lanes are so impossible that they go from inflated 220s to realistic 160s, and they don't want to do that. Nobody wants to do that. I think that era back then was a little bit easier because the scoring pace wasn't higher. Everybody was more compressed. The equipment didn't allow for people that really knew how to throw the ball to just get leaps and, you know, bounds above everybody. We were better, but not to the point where, you know, it would start staggering 30 pins. And I think you just lose that cluster, and that's where I think the big difference is on why back then it worked so well to where today it's a little harder.
So what killed the mega bucks? Like, what killed the roller? What killed the team challenges? Like, what was it? Was it the team challenges just stopped out of nowhere?
My opinion?
I think team challenge structure.
Brackets.
Yes.
Really?
Yep.
Only the top 10% making money. You ran everybody else off. There's no $100 tournament anymore. Every tournament's $250. Well, how many times can you learn at $250 before you go, hey, this isn't me? That and the combination of bowling balls. The perception that you need
and
6, 8, 10 bowling balls to compete. That's a big step when you're average 200, 210, and you go, well, yeah, but if I want to bowl against Chris and Tim and those guys, I need to get like 6 more bowling balls, and that's $1,200 more. Yeah. Before an entry fee?
That's not even a guarantee.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the team challenge, the lanes were so hard that it beat so many people up, and the best always would take all the money in the action, the brackets and everything. It was only a matter of time before a team shooting 1,000 under 2 or 3 times in a row is going to say, I've had enough of this. I remember Buffalo, we were 400 or 500 under and made like 20 grand in brackets, and that's how hard the lanes were in some of those events.
Vegas, the one that me and Timmy did, the one in Vegas with the 85 grand, we were the only team to break 1,000 for 6 games. We were the only team. And I don't even think we broke 1,070, but they were so hard. Yeah.
That's insane.
They were hard. And it was fun because if you shot 630, it was like, all right, I didn't kill nobody.
630 with 3,200 was the Rambo. That was the Rambo set.
Yeah, that was a good bracket set.
Oh, you just murdered everybody. Yeah.
When would you see the guy pop off like 720 at Team Challenge or no?
Never.
Oh yeah, you're just hoping you didn't get in any brackets. You're just hoping.
Yeah, the only time somebody would pop off like a 660 or higher is on the burn squad. But on that fresh, Jesus Christ, was that impossible?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the first Friday night,
and you didn't know.
Friday night they'd be halfway decent. Saturday morning they'd be tougher, and then Friday afternoon they were impossible the rest of the weekend. Get the one in front.
Mr. Mack, you got any input on that or no?
I didn't hear what you said. I had some problems with some connections. I say that again one more time.
They were saying how impossible team challenges were.
Yeah, actually, they were impossible. My first TV show was with I'll never forget. Actually, someone just sent it to me on Facebook. Was up in the throughway lanes up in Buffalo, and the pins, the spare, when I shot a spare, the pins had feet. I threw 6 strikes. Yeah, it was me and Vic, and Sol and Vial. It was me, Vic, Sol, Litch, and Patrick Allen, and we bowled. The lanes were impossible. I mean, impossible. I mean, if you threw the ball flared in the air. It hooked in the air. So they were crazy. Lana.
I hate to do this, guys, but I got to go. I appreciate you having me on. I'm going to leave these guys, the good storytellers, to it. And
Chris, thank you as always, bud. And stay safe, man.
Good to see you.
Thanks, man. It's good to see you guys, too. It's kind of like a global.
You too, Superman. Look after yourself, buddy.
Globaler. Have a good day, Globaler.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chris.
Have a good one. Thanks for having me on.
Later, buddy. And Justin,
Timmy,
now
you look like a horse jockey.
But I'll get back here in a second.
I think we froze Timmy Mack, Justin.
Yeah, he's a little frozen.
I tried to get him on. I tried to get Rudy on, and he didn't really oblige. He didn't really want anything to do with it. But what's you gotta have a good Rudy story, whether it's an after hours action story or something goofy. I mean, there has to be something good with Rudy.
My story with Rudy is not even bowling. My story with Rudy is not even bowling. But me and Rudy had started to meet each other, get along pretty good and stuff like that. And I felt like I was a pretty big boy. I'm 22, 23, pretty big, I think. Rudy comes up behind me one day and puts me in a bear hug. Now, remind you, Rudy is 5'3", maybe, but he's 270, and he gets his arms around me and gets me in a bear hug, and I can't move. So I start wiggling. He squeezes. He's like, "You really want me to squeeze?" So I'm like, "Okay, I'm going to show him one, right? I'm going to be all big on him." So I try to dead drop him. I try to dead drop Rudy. I just take my feet out, drop, held me. 220 pounds. He held me. Didn't even let me hit the ground or nothing. I'm like, okay, I am never messing with Rudy, ever. I don't care how little he is. But yeah, that's the one with just to give you an idea how strong he was, just physically, and how he can manipulate that ball in his swing. I mean, the guy was an ox, and just, I mean, held me. I tried to dead drop him out of a bear hug, couldn't do it. Couldn't do it.
That's funny. So we're at the Hoinky, and it's not a Bohn story. They have the huge billiard room at the Hoinky, and Rudy obviously had massive arms, right? They bring in the state champion of Missouri to arm wrestle him. So they clear out one pool table in the middle of, there's like, I don't know, 30 or 40 pool tables in that hall, and everybody's piled down. Like, it's like crazy. The amount of money that was spent on this one arm wrestling match. So me and Rudy were pals. We traveled together. He's in his set with the guy, right? And they take, I don't know, 5 minutes to get themselves ready to do their wrestle. And they finally let it go. Now they're struggling. Veins are coming out of the faces. And Rudy looks to me and says, "I got this." And just pinned him. It was hysterical. He took down the Missouri State arm wrestling champion at the Hoinky on the pool table with 500 of us around it. It was just
dead at us and said, "I got this." Bang!
He said, "I got it, Vic," and went pop.
Timmy, you got a good Rudy story?
No, I mean, there's so many of them, guys. I mean, it's just, I was there for that one. Rudy is a legend, on so many different fronts. I call him Daniel, and there's a reason I call him Daniel, because the movie Rudy, those guys used to bust my chops all the time because I played football at Penn State and I was a walk-on, and he used to call me Daniel. And if you remember, Rudy's real name is Daniel E. Rudy Rudiger. So I'd always call Rudy Daniel. No one could understand why I called him that. But, Rudy had arguably, and I think Vic could probably attest to this, the greatest hand slap of all time. Talk about another guy that was as intimidating as it gets. He was put together. He was as strong as they come. I remember when he at the high roller, when I had heard about him bowling 279 to win sweeper. Well, then I remember the 3D offset came out. Must have been 96, 97, somewhere around that time. And at the Hoinky, there was massive brackets. I mean, and they were $20 brackets. They weren't $5 brackets like they were at the high roller, and $10 brackets at the high roller. Actually, they were $10 at the bracket. They were 20s at the at the Hoinky. And I remember Rudy went 279, got to the next pair, threw a double, and he said, "Sorry, boys, you're bowling for second place. It's over." Stood up, 279 again, back to back. And I started to come into my own and started to learn how to bowl. Then I had spent a lot of time around Robert, and spent, obviously, like I said earlier, Vic kind of nurtured me and really gave me my start. But to have that kind of confidence to step up there and tell everybody else, "I'm bowling 279, get out of my way, we're gone, see you, it's over." I mean, it was an arm wrestling story. It's hard to forget that. Vic's not lying. When I tell you there had to be 500 people in the place, there had to be five. It was the bowling alley stopped. It stopped.
It did.
It just stopped, and everybody went in to watch the match, and they were locking up like it was just like Sylvester Stallone did in
Over the Top.
And Over the Top.
Yeah.
They're grabbing their hands like this.
Well, look at this. I mean, he threw two guys across the table at the same time. Look at this one.
It was amazing. He was amazing. He was amazing, guys. Yeah. Like I said, I'll say it again. It was a golden era in bowling. Listen, I know, it wasn't on PBA Tour, as they have their own stories, and we have our own stories and things that happened to us overseas, like what happened to Vic and Robert and myself, and I mean, we had our own stories at the high roller and the Hoinky that were, man, you'll never get them back. I don't want to say never, but until these young kids just step up, and people just step up and bowl and not worry about the pattern and match it up and ball and And you can do that better than me. The one
Oh,
kid,
there was-
the one kid
There were so many styles. You had, Don Scudder and Mark Dyson, and then you had me and you, Timmy.
Yeah.
Dick, you were one of the guys that hooked it before we even showed up. I mean, it didn't matter. It didn't matter. Come play. Yeah, you might throw it better than me, but I'm better than you, so it doesn't matter. I mean, this was the mentality of everybody. I mean, and that's, it was a different era. I mean, it was a different era. And if you really wanted to see how good you were, we didn't rely on a tournament. Let's go bowl right now. That, 2-game sets, 4-game sets. Money flew. Money flew. And it's a shame that it's not there. And I think a lot of it is just, the confidence of some of these guys at bowl now, it's just not there.
Justin, I got one more, and we'll try to wrap it up here, all right? Oh. I got one more for him.
All right.
Do you think?
I just wanted to say one thing, Mike. The one guy.
Yeah.
Mike, let me just finish this point. The one guy that I think, the one guy in today's game that would thrive in our time is Anthony Simonson.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
100%.
Oh yeah, just the creativity alone. The creativity alone. You had to be creative in our era. There was you had to throw it so many different ways, and you trust me, if you were a one-trick pony, we'd exploit you real quick. Zano, yeah.
He's the one guy that just has that. He's a different attitude. He's got a no care. Doesn't matter. He's stepping up and bowling. Listen, Belmo. We all know how great Belmo is. No one's arguing that. I'm just saying, for a throwback kind of guy that could just kind of do everything, and has that carefree attitude that, I'm going after it no matter what. Simonson for me would be that guy in today's era.
Well, here's the question I got.
Good.
Your generation, your guys before you went on tour, was it more talent in the megabuck scene or more talent on tour? But I mean, you guys had some heavy hitters when you bowled that stuff. I mean,
it was different bowling.
I've had this argument a few times with some of the pros back in the day. Definitely had that argument with them.
And no disrespect to anybody.
I would say if you took our top 10, we were really close. Really close.
All day.
They didn't bowl on the crap we did. They bowled on stuff that was a little bit more groomed, a little easier, a little higher scoring. They didn't bowl on the stuff where, you knew if you shot a buck 90, you're like, okay, I'm okay. It wasn't like that pace. Top 10, I would take our guys hand for hand with those guys back then in that era. I think once you got past that point, it started being a little bit harder to say we were equal, but I would take our group hands down.
But you guys, just to add on that, what Robert's saying, think about this, guys. Think about the guys that have come out of the megabucks and then are PBA Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
Think about
Barnes is the prime example.
Barnes, Tommy Jones, Mika Koivuniemen.
Wait a minute.
There he is.
Hey.
Justin, can you send him a link to get him on for 2 minutes?
All he's got to do, drop his email.
Rudy, send Justin a message on Facebook. Let's bring him on, please.
Please,
we all want to. Yeah, we all want to get him on. Rudy, send Justin Bohn a message on Facebook. Justin, can we?
Barnes might come back on.
Justin, can we keep it going for a couple minutes, Justin?
All he's got to do, drop his email. I'll send him the link, and we'll keep it going.
Absolutely.
Here's another name for you. Is Pat Healy still bowl, guys?
No, Pat. After he got real sick, and his tour career got cut short. He got salmonella poison. He got really, really sick, and he stopped early. He stopped when he was in his mid to late 30s. I want to say 37, 38.
Yeah, he stopped around when I did.
Yeah, and then he got into the international coaching scene, and I know he helped the Iraq national team. He helped Kuwait national team. He helped India's national team. He's helped Guatemala's national team. Pat's bounced around, and you want to talk about a great bowler in our era as well. And Viali, you can attest to that. How good was Pat Healy?
Smooth. He can make that ball float down the lane. He was like Kretzer back then. The two of them were the same type of bowler, in my opinion. back in the Megabuck day. They could just play, you know,
How it hit,
25 and just belly it to wherever with that slow roll and just not see the front of the lane. They were both ice on that stuff. But get them to the match play and they couldn't bowl.
How about Nick Vogelsang? There's another name.
Volkswagen. Nick Volkswagen.
He was my very first match in the high roller. Nick was my very first match in the high roller. No joke. I get down, you know, I'm 18. This is the year I finished third, coming right out of nowhere. And draw lanes. I think I'm on 9 and 10 down at the boat. And I don't know anybody's names. I don't know anybody. I mean, of course, now I know Vogelsang's awesome. But, you know, I'm 18. I'm looking at the guy. I'm like, I don't know. So we're all throwing shots and stuff like this. And we're looking, and me and Nick are kind of talking, but we don't know names yet. And we're like, we kind of hope we get this guy. And I'm like, yeah, I'm with you. Well, we find out we drew each other, so we didn't get the guy. I think I beat Nick like 230 to 210 or something like that. I mean, it was a good match. I think I just threw a better shot than him here and there. But the guy we wanted to bowl against, this poor lefty, he didn't hit the head pin at all during any shadow shots. Misses the head pin on the first shot, misses the spare on that shot, comes back, misses the head pin again, makes the spare, sheet, 269. I'm like, okay, we're glad we didn't draw you. I mean, Nick wasn't happy because he got me, but I mean, it was like, yeah, but that was the first time I met Nick. He was my very first match.
All right, Robert, I got to cut you off. We have the man himself, a guest
Don't
appearance.
tell me.
Rudy Rebs, everybody. Rebs, welcome to the show, buddy.
Get him off mute.
Is he muted?
How y'all doing?
You.
There he is. Daniel.
Play with my bulldog. Come here, girl.
Yes, Rudy.
Come here, say hi. Come here, say hi.
Look at that.
Oh, man.
That's Stella.
That's awesome.
What's up, brother?
What's up, boys?
How you doing, Rude?
How you doing?
Just came in from doing a little bulldozing work.
You keeping well, brother?
Yeah, I'm staying alive, paying the bills.
Hey, how was your birthday? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, yes, I did. Daniel.
Yeah, Daniel. I just told the story about Daniel and why we call each other Daniel. Man, it's good to see you, buddy. Your ears must have been ringing because we've been talking about you.
Yes, we have.
The king of the action scene in New York, right, guys? Arguably here, right?
Listen, arguably at that time, he was the king.
There's no argument there. No.
Yeah, it's not just the action.
Everybody. It didn't matter.
That's it.
We told him about the arm wrestling story, Rudy, at the Hoinky when you took down the Missouri State champion.
Justin, is Rudy frozen?
A little bit.
Son of a bitch.
We got to get him sorted out.
I was scrolling on Facebook, and I was actually looking for another car, and
we got to get him on there.
Yeah, we got to get him fixed, Justin.
Yeah, we gotta get that fixed.
I came across this.
Justin, maybe if he leaves and comes back in, you think that'll fix him?
We can try it.
Look
You
at
guys
Tim.
kidding me? It's like Sasquatch. We'll never see him again. I've been begging him to come on some of this stuff with me, and he's been reluctant. So
I'm gonna pull it back up on my computer.
We can't lose him now, Justin, I guess.
No, we can't lose Rudy. We got to get him back on. Hopefully his feed will be
I'll
good.
have to do it where I have good internet at my warehouse.
No, we can hear him.
We can hear him now.
We can hear him now.
Rudy, how you been?
Look at Timmy. Looks like a
better
little
now?
boy on Christmas.
Daniel is on. He's on the camera. You guys don't understand.
You guys hear me?
Yeah.
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 Is that any
That's
better?
unbelievable.
Is that any better?
So we
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got to get him sorted out.
so
Rudy could have his own show, just so you guys know.
So what was the story we heard about? Chris was the Missouri arm wrestling champion.
yes,
The
I didn't know he was that good.
at the Wanky.
You
Oh,
stopped.
no,
You
no,
stopped
that was
the
that
tournament.
That was that kid from Florida, wasn't it?
No, it was the Missouri State champion. It was a big deal. I mean, they made a big deal of it. They brought him in on purpose.
Third in the nation.
Yep.
I got this, Vic.
Yeah.
You looked at me
Don't
and
you
said,
remember
"I
me?
got this."
Yeah, that's exactly what it said. I said, I got this, Vic. Now you're second. It's funny. When I first moved to Mississippi, there were two kids from the Tupelo football team. And I guess that you remember Kevin Hardigan, Vic?
Yeah. Yep.
He was from the Binghamton area. Well, he bought a bowling center in Tupelo, and it brought me down here. And I went to arm wrestle one of the football players because he was feeling his oats. And when we locked up, I told his buddy he could put his hand on top of his buddy. So I arm wrestled them both at the same time. And I beat both of them, and I don't think they ever forgot it.
Somebody just said something like that, Rudy.
Mike Zano and I have
Help.
Yeah.
Who is?
It's got to be Rev. It's got to be Rudy.
Yeah, blame it on me.
Who said that about the arm wrestling that you
It
threw
was
two
Mike
guys across?
Messina. It had to be Mike Messina. I think we did one like that.
It was.
Yeah.
Yep. It was. Yep.
Are we better now?
But
Yeah, it's Tim's computer. I just muted him.
Oh, so you kind of put Timmy in timeout.
Timmy, I know you can hear us. If you want to get back on your phone, maybe the audio will sound a little bit better.
Rudy, are you still bowling? Do you bowl anymore? Or what are you doing down
I
there?
haven't bowled in 6 or 7 years.
Don't miss it, do you?
I got to tell you a story about it though. Yesterday, I went into my shop because I was gonna take the radiator out of my Camaro, and I walked by the bowling bag and I picked it up and I opened it up and my gold pearl storm was cracked. I was so pissed. I haven't used that ball in 5-6 years, but I looked at it, it was cracked. I said, son of a bitch. No, but I'm getting ready to start again.
And there it is. Ripped you right across the table.
So you getting ready to start bowling then, Rudy?
I think so. I don't really miss anything but the people.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a bunch of goofballs, let me tell you. The stories we could tell, the books we could write.
That's kind of what we've been doing.
I guess the question is, can we schedule another show and get Rudy on for like an hour? Can we do that, Rudy?
An hour?
Well, we can do it longer. We don't want to overdo. We don't overextend our welcome, you know.
I would have to be. I just have to figure out a way to block an hour, but I'm sure we could do something.
If you guys are up for it, we could get him back.
I'll give you a quick one.
Here we go.
We were. This is me, Jim Callahan, and Chin. We're staying at Sam's Town, and we're getting ready to go to the Showboat. And Jim Callahan's got the rent-a-car because he got it through Hammer from Dennis. I'm driving. Callahan's in the middle. Hin's in the passenger seat. And Mike's breaking my balls. He's breaking my balls. So he went to smack the visor, and the visor was like was parallel to my eyes, and it smacked me right in the forehead. And I got pissed. And I let go the nastiest super geege on the planet. Now they all want me to open the windows, so I locked the windows. And they're all getting mad. I said, if you guys don't stop, I'm going to get pissed. They didn't stop. Now, Viali will appreciate this because he is the master at wrecking rent-a-cars. But I grabbed the rear view mirror like I was going to adjust it, and I pulled it off the windshield and threw it into the windshield and broke the windshield. There was not another word sent. There was not one word said from that point on until we got to the showboat. Man, I was laughing so hard. And they just stood there, didn't say a damn word, looked straight ahead the whole way. While we're on the rent-a-car disaster plan, Vic, why don't you tell them about St. Charles, Missouri?
Yeah, I don't know about that. You know, I have I have amnesia over that, so we can.
How about the phone?
I live a different life, Rudy. So we can leave that one on the show.
Hey, we all do. I go to church every Sunday, guys.
Well, no, I mean, Rudy, we would rent cars, and he would make me do the pull brake in San Antonio, doing 80 miles an hour to turn into parking lots.
Oh, there's so many empty parking lots in San Antonio.
We can also talk about the rental car in Dallas, driving across
the one. The flatbed came. They said, "Why are there tumbleweeds under the car with the 4 flat tires?" And they gave us another rent-a-car and took that one away. Yeah, whatever. That's
tell them about the phone and the elevator at the showboat.
I don't remember that one.
You can tell, hey Vic, you can tell him because the boat is gone. You can't get in trouble. The building's not there anymore.
That's true. Yeah. No, I don't remember some of that stuff. That's all good.
I can remember
we're talking about bowling.
In the casino. We had so much fun; it was ridiculous.
People miss.
Yeah, I think I'm the only guy to get kicked out of the casino in the middle of a roll, a big roll, because I had socks on. They took the chips away from me and kicked me out. So I was playing in socks, and we were like a half hour into that roll.
Well, you had no shoes on; just had socks on.
Yeah, just socks. Yeah.
Yeah, the shoes were still over in the bowl.
That's it. We always did that.
Man, we had some fun, boys.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
Best news I heard tonight. He's coming back to ball.
Timmy would have an entourage behind him at the blackjack table. He'd be taking like $50 or $100 from like 80 guys. He'd go up to the blackjack table with a pile of people behind him, bet it all. If you had to double down, then everybody had to scramble to get the rest of the money up to put the chips up for the hand. And if you won the hand, correct me if I'm wrong, if you won, you doubled up, and then if you won, you took everything back and gave everyone their money. It was something like that.
Oh yeah,
the whole casino stopped. I made an announcement. in the bowling center. Let's go bet the table max. And I'll never forget the hand. I played the hand, and I was up on my knees, and the whole casino stopped. And we got like, I don't know, a pile of people right by the blackjack table. And we had 16, and they had a face card shown. And I showed the cards to everybody. Sir, you got to put the cards down. You guys remember Al Gunlock, the casino host, the silver-haired guy with the gray jacket, super nice guy.
Yep.
Never forget it. Al. But in any case, he says, "Sir, you got to put the cards down." Now I show the whole table, and I said, "What do you want to do?" And everybody yells, "Hit it! Hit it!" So we got. I don't even know what the table max was. 2,000, 1,500. It was a lot. But we've got all the chips up. We got the table max. We hit it. We get an ace. We get 17. What do you want to do? Stay. So we tuck the cards. Now, I said, slow down, slow. The guy flips the card over. 4 and then 9, 23, and the eruption. What do you want to do? Double it. So we doubled it, won the next hand. They wouldn't let us double again. We gave the money. It was unbelievable. Like Rudy and Vic and obviously King Cable there say the stories we could tell are just.
Football was letting me gamble at 18. I was younger than all you guys. I don't even know how they let me into half the places with all you going around. I wouldn't even know that.
Best news I heard tonight. Rudy Kazamakis going to bowl again. Can't wait. Cannot wait.
Hey, Rudy, I'm two-handed now, so, what the hell? Why not?
I saw a video of you throwing it two-handed.
It looks horrible, doesn't it? It doesn't look right.
What are you doing? The question is why?
It doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt. I don't know why.
Hurts. What are you talking about? Everything hurts.
Yeah.
I have parts of my body I didn't even know I had. They hurt. But like I was trying to say earlier, though, I was scrolling through Facebook. I trade a lot of classic cars and hot rods. And I got an email from a guy, and he sent me a link, and I was scrolling through Facebook, and I saw you guys on. I said, I got to stop and say hello.
Your ears are ringing, brother. We were telling the stories, man.
Oh, boy, I can only imagine.
See, we
all good.
Barnes leaves, and we pick up Rudy tonight.
Yeah, you missed Barney.
Well, let me tell you a story about that guy. I watched that damn video of me bowling him in Erie, Pennsylvania, and I've still missed that same damn 10-pin every time.
Yes, unfortunately, yes. Me and you are not known for our spare shooting.
Well, it is what it is.
And you probably wouldn't trade it for anything in the world, right, Rudy?
I mean, I'm okay with it. It is what it is.
Hey, Rudy, tell the people you bowled a lot of the team challenges. How can you explain to people that are watching how hard the team challenges were?
Yeah, it's real easy. Oil from 10 to 10, 20 feet, and oil from 10 out, 50 feet.
And good luck.
And make sure the back ends are super snappy.
If you yank it, yep.
They were impossible.
If you make it right, it's a 2 count.
Yeah, especially when we bowled in Buffalo. Oh, my God.
Oh.
There are people swimming in the flat gutters. They were so deep.
Oh, man.
And Rudy, what would a good bracket set be? 210, 210, 210 across the board?
210.
Well, every once in a while, that was a good bracket set. Sometimes, 190, 190, 190 was a good bracket set.
Yeah.
Yeah. High 180s.
And there were some that were easier than others, obviously. But
yeah.
Yeah, if you can get a buy $180 on your worst
you can get by with 185.
Okay.
But we bowled it when the team challenge. I bowled a couple at the show, but they weren't really bad. Like Buffalo was the worst I could ever remember.
Yeah.
And that place is hard to strike when it walled up, and you make them shitty and forget it.
Impossible.
Oh, Dublin, California, at Earl Anthony's Dublin Bowl, that was by far the worst one I ever bowled. I think that one, the cut score was definitely pushing somewhere around 600.
Jesus.
Yeah. Me and Vic had a couple of sneakaways. We went and bowled at Mag Doubles one year. We went to Wichita Falls and bowled there. We snuck away when nobody was looking a couple times.
You guys ever bowled at Peterson?
Yep.
I bowled one time.
I never bowled it.
Justin, you know about Peterson, right?
See if you guys can guess my score. I bowled one time.
For 8, right? 8 games at the Peterson, right?
Anybody care to guess my score for 6?
Minus 450.
6, wasn't it?
No,
I
think it was 8.
1050.
Yeah.
I think I shot 1050 for 8.
For 8.
Obviously, we It wasn't I wasn't trying all 8 games, but I shot 1050 for
All
8.
right, Bold with it.
I had 2 words to say to that place, and we were done.
Well, I went with
The last
Rich,
word
Ron
means
Nelson.
everybody knows what the first word was.
We went one year and we had a stacked group. It was Litch, Ron Nelson, Waka, Jimmy Johnson. It was a big crew of us, and we were doing okay. And we were getting a little loud, and my ball wouldn't come back. It finally comes back, and I stick my hand in the ball, and you only could bring one ball in. They greased my entire thumb hole. So I went and just grease flew everywhere. So I took the ball and threw it overhead down the lane. I couldn't even bowl anymore. They greased my thumb hole.
Speaking of throwing the ball overhead down the lane.
The file.
I heard, oh no.
That was the lift.
Do you remember? Can't even get it out. Can you remember the machine resetting your shoe at Garden City?
What was that?
Do you remember the machine resetting your shoe at Garden City?
Yes, I do.
You want to talk about damaging a bowling center? Vic, do you remember when I threw the ball through the door in league?
It was Litch that took the flag down, right? He threw his shoe and took the whole American flag
Cuba?
off the
What about Cuba throwing the 2-hopper off the lockers? Guys,
Chris,
we wrecked that place.
I'm going to ask Chris for some help here, Justin.
We all knew better. I mean,
I'm going to ask Chris for some help. I want to do this again.
Go ahead.
Can you get Litch to come on with us the next time we have story time?
Yeah, I think I can. Yeah.
Because we need to have Litch, Justin. We had Larry. We need Mike Lickstein on to talk to us.
Oh yeah.
Timmy, what was the story you told us when he wore the glasses at the Hoinky, where he couldn't see out of it?
Regular Litch, not Mike Litch, senior Litch, Larry.
Oh, no, it was Mike. I thought it was Mike
Lickstein. He showed up at the Hoinky and took his glasses and put paper on him like this, so he was in a tunnel.
No, he took his credit cards. He took his credit cards.
Yeah. Taped them on his glasses. You guys remember that?
Tunnel vision.
So he couldn't see to his right or left.
He didn't know when to go.
So when he had to look to go, he had to go like this. It was unbelievable. No,
I thought that was Mike. I thought that was Mike Lickstein.
That was Popovich.
Mike still had the 80s rock thing going on, so he wasn't going to let that get in the way of his hair. No, but Larry.
It was unbelievable. That I want to know how many speeding tickets Rudy accrued over time going to tournaments.
Lost you.
But I'm going to give you. I'm going to tell. Listen.
Over under.
Does anybody remember Seth Marcus?
Yes. Yep.
Do you remember Vic when I bought my new Corvette in '95?
Yes. Yep.
Me and Seth were going to the team challenge in Pittsburgh. We're going to Seafood Junction, and we were doing it. We had the cruise on at about 140. Most of it. Seth says to me, if we ever have an accident, there's 20 balls in the hatch that are going to just murder us. And I said, well, first of all, we have to have an accident. And second of all, we don't have to worry about anything else. And then on the way back, we came the southern route. We went to AC. We were following Jimmy Johnson from Delaware. And I went through a speed trap at 158 miles an hour. Seth says, what are we going to do? I said, what do you mean, what am I going to do? I'm not slowing down. So we never got caught, thank God. And I will tell you this story. In November, I had a chance to buy a 2018 Dodge Challenger Hellcat Red Eye wide body.
Ooh.
It was 797 horsepower out of the factory. And it's a legal rocket ship. They're really dangerous cars. And I took it to church. And on the way back, we were going to get something to eat. And on the interstate, I had up to 168 miles an hour.
Jesus.
Drove to Tupelo. We ate lunch. I came back. We dropped some people off, and I was just going for a ride. And the interstate near my house, it's not really an interstate, it's a 4-lane, and it had a 65-mile-an-hour speed limit. I got stopped by a state trooper going 108 to 65. I was basically idling. These cars are really, really fast. They're very dangerous. And then, don't
What
try
did he say to you? What did he say to you?
Put your hands on the car, you're going to jail. I know at least 20 state troopers in my area. I froze. I couldn't think of one name. So they take me to jail, right? And I give the police. They didn't put the cuffs on me. Let me sit in the front. And they impound my car, take me to jail. And the police officer is calling my wife. My wife's, I found out afterwards, says, I don't know who this guy is. I ain't answering. So I talked him into calling my mother-in-law. She calls my wife. She calls the trooper. Says, leave him there. He should know better, dumbass. Anyway, an hour later, she comes and gets me out. I get my car to impound. I call my buddy who's a state trooper, and thank God that he got it squashed. Because anything over 99 miles an hour in Mississippi, they automatically take you to jail. That's the new deal. So
luckily, they didn't get you going the other way. 168. You might have been in trouble.
Oh, I couldn't have got out of that one if my guy blew him.
You would have been in trouble there, brother.
He didn't. So the next day, I took the car to the dealership and sold it.
Good thinking.
I had to punish myself.
Good
I just
idea.
told my wife last week I want to go get a demon now.
Oh, Jesus.
I'll find one.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
But I'm telling you, I didn't know what to say to the guy. I went blank. I lost all thought of who I knew and who to call.
Couldn't call Jeff Fennell?
Yeah, or Dave Murray.
Dave
Oh,
Murray.
Murray?
That's a good
Come on.
one. He called me about 2 months ago, Vic.
Yeah, he told me. Yeah.
And he said he's going to be coming this way, and I ain't heard nothing yet. So,
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, I'm going to you and my wife, guys. And
Okay, buddy.
I appreciate you letting me make a GA.
Thank you, Rudy.
Vic, you got my number. Justin, you got my email address.
Yep.
First word he said in 40 minutes.
I don't think he knows what to
Only
think.
kidding, buddy. I got to
I'm
be
just
careful.
sitting back
You
and
get his dad out of
enjoying.
me.
He's
But,
gonna go to his dad
you
and
got
say,
my
"Who
email
are these
address.
clowns?"
Rudy, I'll send you a message on Facebook. We'll try to set something up for another time. All right.
Yeah, well, if you get the boys back on, we'll have a little fun.
Amen
Yeah,
to
we'll-
that, brother.
We'll get Callahan on the next time too, Justin.
Rudy, be good.
Oh yeah.
Callahan.
Thank you.
How many guys can you get on at once?
6.
Oh boy.
That you get more than 5 or 6, this could be a 4-hour marathon. It could,
Oh,
You ain't kidding.
that could be,
Hey, we're game for it if you guys are game for it, right?
family reunion time. Oh boy. That-
I just got so excited to see everybody, man. I haven't seen you guys.
Vic, you know how to get. Me and Vic are
got you,
going to
Rudy.
do a couple of these, I think.
Yep.
What is this?
Right, Chris?
Rudy with the front 11
Yes.
stepping on an approach, yelling,
We're going to do a couple of these, right?
Yep.
God help us. All right.
Hey, make
Thank
sure
you,
everyone
Rudy.
knows.
Thanks, Rudy.
Stay
All right,
safe.
Daniel.
Guys, thank you for letting me pop in.
See you, Daniel.
got it,
See
buddy.
ya.
Rudy for coming on.
Thanks,
Bye.
Rudy. We'll be in touch.
See you, brother.
That was a nice
Right on.
little treat there, guys.
that was not expected.
That
was not
was fun.
expected.
Timmy, you look
Right,
like
Justin. I have
What's
to
that?
depart as well, guys. Thanks for putting this together and having me on. And Robert, Timmy, man, great seeing you guys.
Good to see you,
Great to
brother.
see you, Vic.
Thank you, Chris.
Much
We'll
love,
be in
buddy.
touch. We'll do this again soon.
You got it, my friends. Be good.
Later, Chris.
Thanks, brother.
Timmy Mack looked like a little kid on Christmas morning when Rudy popped in, Justin.
It's just
Oh
great
my
to see him.
God,
You know,
that was-
it's
he
so
was
good
like-
to see him. So good to see him,
And
guys.
my phone's blowing up with people saying, "Holy shit, you got Rudy on! Rudy!"
Yeah.
Everybody's blowing up.
He got
Yeah.
on because of the guys that were on. That's why he got on, because of Vic and because
Rudy was
of Robert
iconic.
and myself. And Rudy's he's an incredible guy, man. He's an incredible guy, and it's great to see him and hear him be maybe win a bowl again is even awesome.
So listen, if we organize another one, you guys are gonna be back
Make it
on.
happen. 100%. 100%.
Clear the calendar. We'll set something up. Timmy will be in touch. Rob will be in touch again as always.
Absolutely.
Great job, guys.
Stay safe, guys. Thank you as always, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
Cable, I
I'll
love you,
talk
man.
to you here. I'll give you a call here in a minute, dude. Good to see you,
Sounds
though.
good, Bruce. Good to see you, brother, my brother. Say hi to Sharon.
Those close-ups, though, you look like a damn horse jockey, though. I don't know about the headphone. Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
All right, my man. Take care,
Later,
guys.
Bye, guys. Justin,
That
was
pretty good.
that was good, bud.
That was nuts. I was like, all right, this is getting ready to wrap up, like maybe 5 or 10 more minutes after Barnes left, and then Rudy Revs pops in.
Rudy Revs popped in. We had to let it go for
it. I was like, you can't leave. You can't.
No, you couldn't leave. That was too good to pass up there.
Oh yeah. So
glad to hear Rudy's looking to bowl again. That's good.
Yeah, that's gonna be a fun time. So, Mike, what do we got next week?
John Janowitz on Tuesday.
Okay.
That's going to be learning how to read a lane graph and a little Q&A with Janowitz. That should be a good one.
Yeah, if you got any questions for JJ, and you want answers about anything bowling related, be sure to tune in next Tuesday. And
that's a hell of a player too.
Oh yeah.
And then Thursday, you have called out Stewie Williams, so you're going to have a little 3-game virtual match against Stewie next Thursday.
Yeah, we got something working in progress that it's gonna be a fun time.
You should bowl Robert 2-handed.
Oh boy.
Yeah. No.
He's still in the studio shaking
that's why I said it. You should bowl Robert 2-handed.
Oh, I don't want to show off my spare shooting skills or lack of it. No, thank you.
I tell you what, this was a lot of fun, man. This was a whole lot of fun tonight, and Justin, we are going to set this up. We're going to do this again.
Oh yeah. So, we will see you guys next Tuesday. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to like the Facebook page, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and we will be back Tuesday. Thanks everyone for tuning in and watching, and thanks Rob again for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, Rob.
Thank you, guys. Absolutely. Thank you.
This was a hell of a week, Justin. So we will see everybody on Tuesday with John Janowitz.
All right. See you then.